I hear that Action Pack is doing phenomenal work in your town, running candidates, parents, to bring sensibility back into your school system and your community. We fight human trafficking. Human trafficking is a broad term. Let's focus for a second on child sexual exploitation in the most egregious form, of which an entry into child sexual exploitation would be to groom or desensitize the child through medium or media such as curriculum, which is very prevalent throughout the country, but definitely in your state. Something someone like a J.B. Pritzker would not fight. And I believe it's now up to the parents to step into the school boards and hold the school boards accountable, or take over the school boards and then hold the legislators accountable to eradicate this type of material from your child's classroom. To allow children to dream, to allow children to be raised in a community and a society that puts them first, not last. That does not make the child a political pawn, a mechanism and a tool to wield political power with, as what you are seeing today with gender mutilation. People fighting for transitioning children at the age 5, or something as egregious as teaching sexual techniques to kids in kindergarten. Having books like It's Perfectly Normal, Lawn Boy, Queer Boy. Those kind of books destroy a young mind. Adults have enough problems and trouble dealing with sex in marriage. A child is not ready to deal with the concept of sex. See, this is not just a conversation about who's talking to the child about sex first, because now we have a lot of parents that say, well, I'll talk to my child about sex at 5, so that the school does not talk to him about sex. Here's my thought on that. The child is not ready to talk about sex. It doesn't matter who's talking to the child. When you plant the seed of sex in the brain of a child prematurely, and you then fuel it with normalizing sex talk with a parent, normalizing pornographic material such as what they're doing in the classroom, predominantly pushed by the left, the child now becomes inquisitive. You've planted a seed in a brain that is consuming information. The child will explore. The second that child sees his or her first pornographic image and it's normalized, love, the concept of intimacy, commitment, trust, lust. I know some school board members in your state and Action Pack who actually want to proactively go and say, let's defend the child. Let's protect the child to dream again. Let's focus on education, math, arithmetic, science, history, not sex. See, the second a child talks about sex to a familiar figure, such as a teacher, a coach, a parent, it normalizes the conversation of sex in the child's brain. A child does not have the ability to differentiate between a good adult versus a bad adult. The child may or may not have a gut feel. But when you talk about sex in the classroom, you're telling the child, Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith is talking to you about sex. You can talk to adults about sex. This is why every single predator that we have intercepted recently smile and celebrate the fact that we now have this radical comprehensive sex ed that's normalizing the conversation of sex with children, because when Mrs. Smith, 10 o'clock in the morning, talks to Johnny about masturbation, then when Mr. Jones tonight on social media talks to him or messages him, Johnny will engage in a conversation of sex with any adult, because we've normalized the conversation. Now the stranger, who we know is danger, is inside. We've opened the door. We've opened the gate. Are you aware that the average age of porn entry, the first images of porn seen today in America, are boys age 8? It's our job, Action Pack, your job as parents, to fortify around the child, to create an environment where the society wants the child to thrive. The society wants the child to grow up innocent. The society wants the child to go through the normal progression of life, hit puberty at 12, become aware of her or his body, then learn about how to protect ourselves. Yes, you can have an age-appropriate conversation with your 3-year-old, with your 5-year-old, but that's the parent's job.